thank you. So thank you, first of all, for inviting me, and it's really great to be able to share with you an initiative by Charities, especially after the talk we just had now. So I'm Nancy Abou-Zeid, I'm the scientific director of a French charity, Fondation Arc, and I'm here to present you a unique initiative that is led by Charities to foster pragmatic clinical research in oncology in Europe. So first of all, a little bit of context. In the 23-25 work program of Horizon Europe, there was a specific call for proposal dedicated to supporting a pragmatic clinical trial program by cancer charities. It is a CSA. The EU made it very clear that they wanted to help us coordinate a network between charities, but not co-fund the trials that we will select. The frame was very clear. They asked us to launch at least 2 transnational call for proposals for pragmatic clinical trials for rare cancers and hard-to-treat cancers, as defined here, so 5-year overall survival of less than 50%. For any stage of diseases, any cancer subtypes, any age groups, or part of society. And they wanted us, of course, to organize networking activities all over the project. So I just want to stress out that this is the first time, actually, there is an action, a call for proposals fully dedicated to charities. We have been working with mostly national agencies in other EU-funded programs, but this is the first time we have a specific call for us, and we feel that it was very awaited by us, because we are a very important partner of cancer research over Europe, and this is maybe a new start for when the Commission starts to see us as important partners. At least this is how we want to interpret this first call for charities. So we organized our group. It's called FORCE for Fostering Oncology Research by Charities in Europe. We applied to this Horizon call, and we're very happy because we were successful, and we will be supported by the EU over 4 years to organize the work that I will present just a little bit later. I think it's the first time we publicly speak in detail about FORCE, as the official starting date is in a few days. It's in June 1st. So I hope that we will be able to share about this initiative more and more. Just to be very clear, the money from the EU will help us construct and coordinate the work between the charities. Then we as charities will launch call for proposals that will allow us then to fund pragmatic clinical trials in Europe. So the money from the EU will not cover the clinical trials. So who is FORCE? FORCE is a consortium, is composed of 14 charities that you can see here on the map. The project is coordinated by Fondation Arc. And you see that we have very different types of charities, if you recognize them. Some are very fund all stages of cancer research, basic research, translational and clinical research. Some others are dedicated to clinical research, for example. You have the 3 charities that are fully dedicated to pediatric oncology that are highlighted in the slide. So we also have partners that have specific sub-interests for population, and in this case for pediatric oncology. We are very different, but we are very complementary, and it's really important for us now, with the help of the funding by the EU, to learn to work together and to be really complementary in order to fund the most interesting pragmatic clinical trials in Europe. So I just wanted to highlight that these 14 charities are really important actors in each countries, in their own countries. We are all, we count in the cancer research funding. And if you want to look at the average contribution of the 14 of us taken together, so over 1 year, we represent more than 472 million euros dedicated to cancer research. So we knew that, but we're really happy that the Commission sees that now also, and we believe that we can contribute to the European Beating Cancer Plan in an effective manner. So to go back more to the first project, to give you a little bit of the details. So our objective is to coordinate ourselves in order to deliver a pragmatic clinical trial program that will be funded by charities and dedicated to rare and hard-to-treat cancers, as I said. We will implement 2 transnational calls. And at the end of the 4-year CSA, we plan to deliver the EC with a blueprint on pragmatic oncology clinical trials by charities. And we hope that this will contribute to decision-making and maybe provide in the future more opportunities for charities to contribute to the general European effort. So I will not go into detail on the work plan. It's very classical. We have a management and coordination work package, which is really important because, as I said, FORCE is taking charity collaboration to a new level. We, of course, collaborated previously with each other, but never with 14 different charities, and we need to learn how to work together, and we will do that during FORCE. We have a work package dedicated to the delivering of the pragmatic clinical trial program that I will get back to a little bit later. We have a very important work package on patient centricity and impact, and I will just take a few moments now to tell you that we really aim to establish a comprehensive patient-centered engagement strategy that will integrate patient perspectives into all the phases of our program, but also that will ensure that patient involvement will shape the development, evaluation, and implementation of the pragmatic clinical trials. Of course, we have a work package for the implementation of our program, so the 2 call for proposals that we will launch, and a work package on governance, organization, and sustainability. This one is also important. We don't have money from the EU to fund the clinical trials, so if we learn to work in a good manner between these 4 years, maybe we can pave the way for a long-term collaboration, and sustainability is really a huge issue for us in this project. So I'll tell you a little bit more about the pragmatic clinical trial program, but as I said, the project will start very soon, so we will take 1 year to construct, to imagine the pragmatic clinical trial program, but we already have identified and started to address a few questions. So first of all, about pragmatic clinical trials, which was the core of the call by the EU. So we are working today to try to identify, to try to understand better what types of pragmatic clinical trials should be funded to have the more impact, and should be funded by charities, which might not be the same as other pragmatic clinical trials that, for example, are funded directly by the Commission. So we are working on the definition of pragmatic clinical trials. We are also working on the question of how can pragmatism maximize patient impact. We are trying to find out which types of pragmatic trials could be supported within our program. We have also, of course, questions about research priorities within the frame of the call, so rare and hard-to-treat cancers. But we also want to have research priorities that are totally in line with patients' needs. As I said, patient engagement is a really important issue, so we are starting to think how we can involve patients within the definition of our pragmatic clinical trial program, but also within the trials that will be supported later. And quite a challenge is to start thinking about dissemination and transferability of the trials and the results across Europe, because we have very different, in the different countries, very different landscapes, and we need to see how the results will benefit to all. We are also thinking now and working on the modalities of the call for proposals that will be launched, so on the criteria of the trials, but also on the selection, implementation, and follow-up. And I will get back to the criteria because we, as has been said, I think this morning, the idea is really to interconnect with other European initiatives and to build on other initiatives to improve and to optimize impact. So our pragmatic clinical trial program will be elaborated in the next 12 months. We chose to use a bottom-up coordinated approach, and it's really important for us. We want to start from the needs of the researchers and the patients. And this is the only way that we as charities believe that we will have the maximum impact. So we will invite European stakeholders so researchers, professionals from different disciplines in oncology, comprehensive cancer centers representatives, patients, citizens, policymakers, etc. We will invite them to workshops, meetings, and consultations to help us in our discussions to define the PCTP. We will also have an international advisory board to provide us with global guidance. In this case, we feel that it will be better to have an advisory board that is very international and that has very few members from the funding agency countries. And so with this collaborative approach, the idea is that we will organize our network in a very fruitful manner to dedicated to organizing, implementing, and monitoring cancer pragmatic clinical trials over Europe. One interesting thing is that in the call that we applied to, there was something that was clearly written. It's the following. So the successful proposal should contribute to the following outcome. Researchers, innovators, and professionals from different disciplines and sectors ensure accessibility and reusability of relevant trial data to support the uncan.eu research data platform, which is currently in preparation. And for us charities, our perspective on data sharing was very clear from the start and almost independent of this specific call. We believe that for international projects, we need data harmonization, circulation, and sharing on the European level. This is the basis for effective international projects. And we saw in this FORCE project an opportunity to generate data from patients that could interconnect with research data, including models. So we believe that some interesting data can come up from pragmatic clinical trials, and also an opportunity to generate patient-oriented information that could be integrated in future research programs. So that's why when we, in our application, we very clearly stated an interconnection with UNCAN. So the idea was for us to discuss with the successful applicants from the two calls of UNCAN, the one on the nodes and the one on the use cases. And we'll have to do that in the next few months. The idea for us is that we already decided to, if UNCAN is able to provide guidelines for data collection over Europe, type of data, how to collect them, about their nomenclature, their accessibility, et cetera, we are very willing to incorporate those guidelines in the FORCE call text as predefined requirements for the projects. And we will also dedicate specific budget for data collection and harmonization in the funded trials. So we believe that the trials that will be funded in FORCE are expected to contribute through the data generated to the upcoming uncan.eu research platform. There is another platform interesting for us. It's not yet operational. It's the upcoming ECPDC, the European Cancer Patient Digital Center, which is a platform that will provide it will be an entry point for quality information for patients, survivors, their families, etc., that will cover all the patient journey from diagnosis to the life after cancer. And so FORCE trials will provide ECPDC with quality information useful for patients, citizens, and caregivers. We believe that. So on these 2 points, the FORCE consortium will require from the submitted trials to anticipate their connection with UNCAN and the future ECPDC, and to anticipate their data sharing on those portals. We also have contacts with the Knowledge Center on Cancer, KCC. We have initiated discussions with them, and we will see how we can also incorporate their needs and to maximize the data sharing from the trials into the different platforms. I just have one last slide to give you the timeline. I hope that it was a little bit early to tell you more about FORCE in details, but I hope that over the next year we will be able to share with the community in Europe what we are doing. So we will start the CSA on June 1st, as I said. We have our kickoff meeting on July 2nd in Paris. It's a kickoff meeting between the 14 charities, but also with some stakeholders that have already been invited to discuss with us on the very broad questions I presented you. We expect to launch our first call for proposal by the end of 2026 with the funding in 2027 and the second call for proposal in 2028 for funding in 2029. And during these 4 years, we will have multiple workshops and meetings, and I hope that we will be able to share with you and with others our ideas and initiatives, and all together we will help shape a FORCE consortium that will be really fruitful for cancer research. So I will thank you, and if you have any question, you can contact me. You can also use this email, the generic email that is on the slide. And I hope that you have some interest in this initiative, and if you want to talk about it, we are very open. I didn't say it, but we are very open to having new charities on board. Even if they are not in the initial application, if they are willing to participate in the construction of our program or in the funding of the trials, we are very open to welcoming them. Thank you.